YouTube, what's up, man? This your boy, the 1J Osh. Say it with me now. Welcome back to the show. Look, shout out to all my YouTube people, man. Look, we on the road to 500. We're almost there. Just a few more subs. We good, though. Hey, look, I told y'all, man, I'm enjoying the journey with y'all. Y'all seeing me start from the beginning and working my way up. We on the way to 500. We're going to get to that 1,000. But we got the Edmonton Tornado from Canada. Black Friday in Canada. That doesn't sound too good. When I think of Black Friday, I think of deals. This might be a big deal. But yeah, man, look. Shout out to CFproductions like we always do. We get those credit to those who are making the videos. We just react to them over here. Let's get into it, man. We're going to get right into this video.
If you ask most people what the term Black Friday reminds them of, they would likely reply...
For whatever reason, my audio...
If you ask most people what the term Black Friday reminds them of, they would likely reply that it's the shopping holiday the day after Thanksgiving and the start of the Christmas season. However, if you ask the residents of Edmonton, Alberta the same question, they would more than likely give you a much different and darker answer. On July 31st, 1987, one of Canada's...
87?
Strongest and deadliest tornadoes on record tore through the eastern side of Edmonton, leaving unimaginable...
If anybody was from Edmonton in 1987 and you was alive during this time and y'all see this video, let me know your experience.
...destruction in its wake. This is the story of the Edmonton, Alberta
F4
there's
plenty
tornado
of people still
of
alive.
1987,
that's
or better
90,
known to locals as simply Black Friday.
You're in your 40s or 50s. So.
The story of the Edmonton tornado actually begins about a week before.
Oh, it's in July.
A massive high-pressure system has been building over a majority of the United States, which allowed very warm and unstable air to funnel all the way north into Canadian territory. This high-pressure system also forced any activity in the jet stream way up north into Canada as well. As the week began, an area of low pressure tried to move into Canada but simply couldn't due to the sheer strength of the high-pressure system. As both of the weather systems remained nearly stationary for days, the heat and humidity continued to build in Edmonton before it would all finally come to a head on July 31st. On July 31st, after days of being in a stalemate, the high-pressure system finally weakened just enough to allow the low-pressure system to start inching eastward. The low-pressure system, which had been building in strength for days, brought with it a strong negatively tilted trough over the plains of Alberta. This trough is exactly what was needed to develop thunderstorms, and as fate would have it, due to the high-pressure system sitting over Edmonton for roughly a week, these thunderstorms would have an extremely volatile atmosphere to work with. As the day progressed, temperatures warmed into the upper 70s or roughly 24 degrees Celsius. Dew points also rose into the mid-60s, which is roughly 18 degrees Celsius. There was also a significant amount of instability or energy for thunderstorms in the atmosphere, with K values rising to roughly 4,000 joules per kilogram. Lastly, there was also significant shear or spin in the atmosphere, which was located in the area and would continue to increase as the afternoon progressed. As a result of all of these elements being in place, a major tornado event now looked to be inevitable. Sometime during the late morning and early afternoon, thunderstorms began to develop to the southwest of Edmonton and began to drift northwards towards the city. At 1:40 p.m. local time, a severe weather watch was issued by the Alberta Weather Center, with Edmonton being almost exactly in the bullseye. As the afternoon progressed, the line of storms continued to strengthen, and prefrontal storms would begin to form ahead of the main line. The storms continued to build in strength and get closer to the metro area, and at 2:45 p.m., the Alberta Weather Center upgraded the severe weather watch to a severe weather warning. And about 10 minutes later, the isolated storm produced its first tornado on the southeast side of the town of Leduc. This tornado was extremely brief and weak, but it was an indicator that the storm was still intensifying. Just a few minutes later, the storm would produce another tornado, this time to the south of the town of Beaumont. This one touched down at 3:01 p.m. and stayed over mainly rural areas, but it was stronger as it was an F2. Just 2 minutes later at 3:03 p.m., and while tornado number 2 was still on the ground, the storm produced another tornado. This one touched down on the southeast side of the town of Beaumont and initially tracks northeast.
Oh wow.
It was at this time that the first known video of either tornado was recorded. This was recorded by a local who was located to the east of both tornadoes, and you can see tornado number 2 in the foreground as a weakening rope, with the uncondensed tornado number 3 lurking in the background.
Coming at him or is going away. Quality, man.
It's worth mentioning at this time that in 1987, Edmonton didn't have Doppler radar, so most tornado warnings were issued based on people actually seeing and then reporting the tornado. And that's exactly what began to happen at this exact moment, when numerous people began calling the police and the Weather Center reporting the tornado activity that they were seeing. The Weather Center then formally issued a tornado warning for the area at 3:04 p.m. Both tornadoes continued tracking northeast for a few more minutes before tornado number 2 would eventually dissolve after being on the ground for 4.7 miles or 7.26 kilometers. After the other tornado faded away, tornado number 3 continued to grow in size and strength as it changed direction and now began heading due north, straight towards the eastern side of Edmonton. As the tornado began to enter the southeastern side of town, or better known to locals as the Millwoods area, a handful of residents began to videotape what they were seeing. They would document a shape-shifting beast as it continued to strengthen. For moments at a time, there appeared to be no discernible funnel all the way to the ground, before numerous vortices would appear and then begin to dance around.
That's crazy. Man, look at how far we've come in technology, though. Like compared to like quality of like cameras, that's insane.
Typically, when you see a tornado with multiple vortices, it's a fairly strong tornado. However, surprisingly and fortunately, at this time, the tornado was only producing F2 damage, but that would soon change.
Oh boy.
The tornado continued moving off to the north, as it still didn't consistently have its condensation funnel all the way to the ground.
Right.
This undoubtedly confused a lot of residents, though, as they mistook this for meaning that the tornado had actually lifted.
People looking at this shit like, oh, what's the clouds doing? Hey, I ain't gonna lie. If before watching some of these videos, I probably would have been some dumbass looking at the clouds like, oh, what is that? Why are the clouds moving like that? I'd probably be looking at it too, especially you don't see nothing touching the ground, and you don't like when you see tornadoes, you imagine the big full shape, the wedge, the funnel, like, but you seeing that, you're just like, why is the clouds dancing?
When in fact the opposite was true.
It's crazy. Now you hear that. See, I'm getting hell on. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Some of y'all are too close and they don't even know it.
That's the cloud.
That's the cloud. Nah, that ain't no cloud, my boy. That's a tornado. That's a tornado. I'd imagine some of them people
no, you better stay here for a while, Jada.
Never even seen a tornado.
Your mom knows you. Oh my goodness.
While this situation may have confused many initially, the tornado soon thereafter fully condensed, proving that it was far from being over.
I didn't even get to get it on tape.
Oh no, that shit big now. Can't play with it now.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Holy.
See that baby crying and stuff. Aww.
The tornado, which was now at peak intensity, then made its way into the industrial area of Edmonton. At this location, the tornado impacted many industrial warehouses, and unfortunately, due to it hitting before 4 p.m., many people were still at work there. The twister impacted a number of industrial buildings here, including the Nault Sawmill, the Dillingham and Moltec Construction Building, and the Alberta Trust Company. In addition to these buildings being significantly damaged, the tornado also lifted and threw a massive oil tank several hundred feet at this location. As the twister crossed Baseline Road, it impacted a number of trucking companies, where it would toss dozens of trucks and trailers around like toys.
Look at that!
Adjacent to this location was the CN rail line, where a number of rail cars were derailed and tossed around. And to make a bad situation even worse, these rail cars were carrying anhydrous ammonia and sulfuric acid, which are two toxic corrosive substances which can be very dangerous when humans come in contact with them.
No!
As the tornado finally moved out of the industrial area, the death toll would reach 12. The tornado continued moving northwards and started a weakening trend as it began straddling the North Saskatchewan River.
Another question, was this the deadliest tornado in Canada? Let me know.
It would produce a varying amount of damage to homes close to the river, ranging from minor roof damage to homes nearly being swept away. Amazingly though, there were no new fatalities in this stretch of homes, although there were a few additional injuries. It was at this point that the tornado exited the metropolitan area of Edmonton, but there was still one big location in the tornado's crosshairs, the Evergreen Mobile Home Park. The community consisted of 723 individual homes and housed over 1,000 people. and the tornado, which was now at F3 intensity, tracked directly through the middle of it. The damage here was unimaginable, especially considering how badly mobile homes fare in tornadoes. 208 of the mobile homes, or roughly 29%, were completely destroyed. To make a bad situation even worse, the tornado had severed critical power lines and phone lines, so that the Evergreen community was cut off from the rest of the city and had no way of calling for help. Eventually, after hospitals began receiving patients from this area, the rescue workers were finally made aware of the situation and headed over there to help. The death toll from the tornado would more than double as a result of Evergreen being hit, adding another 15 fatalities, which brought the grand total to 27. Wow. In a final stroke of bad luck, almost immediately after wiping Evergreen off the map, the tornado completely dissipated. It was on the ground for a total of 22...
Ain't that some shit? Dang, you couldn't do that before you hit Evergreen?
0.8 miles, or
after, hey, I'm just going to wipe out this trailer park and then I'm going to peace
an hour and a half. The tornado would also be formally rated as an F4, with estimated wind speeds up to 260 miles per hour or 418 kilometers per hour.
Yeah, because back then the
speeds up to...
Because back then, the Fujita scale was different. That was a strong tornado then.
260 miles per hour or 418 kilometers per hour. This tornado would prove to be a big wake-up call for Environment Canada and the Alberta Weather Centre. Neither actually did anything wrong on this day, and they in fact made good forecast, calling for violent thunderstorms and even getting the tornado warning out before the tornado entered metropolitan Edmonton. However, this event was a wake-up call that they did not have proper technology installed to warn the public to the best of their abilities. They decided that it was essential to upgrade to Doppler radar as soon as possible, so they didn't have to rely on people physically seeing then reporting a tornado to issue a warning. It would take an additional 4 years, but in 1991, Doppler radar was officially installed and became operational in the area. In the years since, Doppler radar has proved to be an essential part of warning the public, and it's done a very good job, although Edmonton in particular has not seen a tornado of this caliber in the city in the years since. With that being said though, July 31st, 1987 is not a day that Edmontons will soon forget, as this was one of the strongest tornadoes in Canadian history and was the second deadliest only behind the Regina tornado of 1912.
Did he say Regina?
History, and was the second deadliest only behind the Regina tornado of 1912.
Regina? No comment.
Either way, whatever
so
the
it's the second deadliest, though.
Edmontons will not soon forget that Black Friday in the summer of 1987.
Regina. Let me know if I should find or try to find something on that. I don't know. It's a crazy name. But hey, that's the city name, I guess. Regina. All right. Interesting. Yeah, like some of the parts where they were confused about the tornado, like, I understand that. Especially, like I said, I don't know how common it is in Canada for tornadoes, but 87, I'm imagining they ain't seen that many. I don't know. So they wouldn't know what to look for. They're just like, why is the clouds dancing? But yeah. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know what I should react to next. I know I've been getting comments about the 2011 Piedmont El Reno tornado. Because we reacted to the 2013 El Reno. We haven't reacted to the 2011 Piedmont El Reno, I don't think. So, let me know what y'all think, what I should react to next. Like, share, subscribe to your boy on the road to 500. It's your boy J. Osh. And I'm out. Hee